Aquaman Rebirth, written by Dan Abnett and art by Oscar Jimenez.
Jimenez.
Jimenez? Yeah, I wasn't sure if how I was pronouncing that.
That's all
There you
right.
go.
I gotcha.
Well. So yeah, that's Aquaman Rebirth. And this... I get it's actually one that I compare a lot to Wonder Woman. Because the first two-thirds of this book, they've got Aquaman off catching someone, it's doing its
It was a
thing.
very rough read, more so than Wonder Woman for me, just because this one seemed to be trying to do too many things.
Yeah, it is doing a lot of things, but again, I think the ending's the best part.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of like, wow, this is kind of the worst so far of the Rebirth books out of the nine. And then I got to the last like 5 pages and went, oh man, okay, I really like this.
Yeah, I think, and because Abnett's already been doing like 4 or 5 issues of
Hmm.
Aquaman,
Yep.
like I know he's fine at it. I know he writes a good
Yeah.
Aquaman, and I think there's good stuff in here. But I think there is just so much packed into that this first like two-thirds of this book.
I think what throws you off a lot of it is the narration, where it's not first person.
Yeah,
The narration boxes, they're all Aquaman
Well,
thinks. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, it's intentional, but
it's
it kind
the
of
reveal,
throws
which
it throws you off
yeah.
at first, I think, which is
yeah.
why it makes it a little bit awkward to read.
And it sets up Aquaman as a character. It really tells you the status quo. He's got this embassy on dry land. He's trying to do this. He's got Mira who's doing this, and oh, by the way, Aquaman's not lame. He doesn't really talk to fish. He just has a connection with her. Like it's really explaining a
Yeah,
lot of
Which I
stuff.
do like because that was a thing that when they relaunched in the New 52 that they stressed was, he's not that public perception, and they even play with that here. Like there's an Aquaman cartoon. The kids are watching with cartoon sea animals
it
and
reminds me a lot of the first arc of the New 52,
yeah,
where he comes out and
the
they're all
trench.
laughing at him and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's very intentional, especially with the scene with
Yeah.
the two of them in the diner at the fish
Yeah.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same diner.
Yeah, it's the
that,
same diner. Yeah.
And because in that first arc in the trench where he is eating fish and people are looking at him like he's cannibalizing,
It's
right?
pretty funny.
And but no, Abnett does have the voice of these characters down, which is good. But again, between the Sea Drift Station and the what were the lower rung people called the ninth?
Oh god, I can't remember. See,
Yeah,
that's kind of the point is that there was so much packed in, is that I can't remember.
Yeah.
it was a lot of exposition.
yeah,
But that all said, like the one thing I still think it hyped me for the series. Like
Yeah.
the one little teaser we got at the end of like who's actually narrating, and I guess we'll talk about this now, is
yeah.
and also I think this is where the art gets better as well. Like for some reason, I think the art in the Black Manta reveal at the end is suddenly a lot more interesting.
Mm.
I don't know if it's because they're playing a lot more with darkness because I've got
I
all the
think
shadows in his face.
it's a lot less clean cut as well. The lines
Yeah.
aren't quite as clean.
Yeah, yeah. And Black Manta is one of those characters, one of those villains that I've always wanted to like read a good Black Manta story about. And I'm sure people might recommend a good Aquaman run from the past that has some good stuff. But
Brightest day.
There's no like definitive Black Manta story.
I've read Brightest Day, but like you know what I
Yeah,
mean, like
that's yeah. But I was gonna say that's to me from the Aquaman I read the most because during the '90s he became a mutated half man, half manta ray. So. It wasn't until Brightest Day that he kind of made that return.
the first time I ever
And
seen Black Manta in a comic was actually the Justice book, which was Alex Ross and
Ross,
yeah.
Mark
Uh,
Wade, right?
No, that wasn't Mark Wade that did Justice.
No,
No,
was it just Alex Ross?
It was Kruger, I think. Was it Kruger?
We're gonna look this up real quick. Keep talking. I'll research.
Yeah, but no, I saw Black Manta in that because that book had like tons of villains and side characters from like, all over DC, and I always thought he looked cool. And that was when I read that book like 10 years ago, whatever it was. That was like, oh, is this like Aquaman's arch nemesis? And it is. That's who he is. And I always thought he seemed cool, so I'm excited.
You're right, Jim Kruger.
There you go. Yeah, cool.
Oh, he was right
nailed it.
once.
Hi, hi. I probably only remember that because I was thinking of Freddy Krueger. I was like, I probably just thought
Probably.
I probably just thought his name reminds me of Freddy Krueger, and then that's how I've remembered it
That's
all
how
these
it's
years.
stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, all these years.
But
no,
yeah, Black Manta. He's got that gnarly scar on his face, right?
yeah,
From Aquaman's trident, and
It's just a
calls
cool
him a
as fuck
murderer.
helmet.
Yeah,
I like the helmet.
which reminds you that in an act of vengeance, Aquaman accidentally killed Black Manta's dad.
Yeah.
You know, in a fit of rage, right? Gave him the heart. Did Black Manta give Aquaman's dad the heart attack? Or vice versa? I can't remember. But, you know, I love it when villains are personally driven. Like, it's not just like, hey, I don't like this guy. It's, oh no, he killed my dad.
Yeah. I don't know, it's a very personal,
his life.
very personal story, or personal vendetta.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, when the narration ends, when it gets to the end of the book, he's talking about everything that Aquaman has in his life, and he's talking about Mira and saying how she's the most important thing, that without her, he, like, would crumble, and then he's like, that's why I'm going to start with her. I'm going to take her away. It's going to symbolise this, and then he's going to tear him down. So, no, I like this. I think Aquaman, having read a lot of the New 52 Aquaman, in fact, most of it, I read all of John's, and I read a fair bit of what came after, and Abnett stuff at the end. I think one thing that Aquaman probably needed through a lot of that was a main villain that was really, like, where you knew who the villain was and you remembered them, and not just like, you know, another person from Atlantis, number 52, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, it did start.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Ocean Master, he's got Black Manta, and then, like Pete was saying, person from Atlantis, whatever. But I'm kind of thankful they didn't keep using Black Manta or Ocean Master, because Manta's been gone since Throne of Atlantis. So it's good to have him pop up and be missed.
Yeah, he's had enough time to...
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong, I don't want him to just constantly use the same ones,
no.
but I just feel like, whereas like Batman and Superman have such a big rogues gallery, they can almost always use one you recognise, but also give them all time off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas Aquaman doesn't quite have that, because he doesn't have as many good ones, at least notable ones.
Right.
And again, people who have been reading Aquaman like religiously for 30 years are probably going to tell me, oh, there's tons of great Aquaman villains, what are you talking about? But, you know.
There's not that many have made it into the mainstream almost.
Yeah. If you can even call Black Manta mainstream.
Yeah, I mean, to general comic readers who don't necessarily read that much Aquaman, they'll know Black Manta and probably Ocean Master.
Yeah, and even then, that's a push.
Yeah.
Even then, yeah. But anyways, it's still good. I mean, and again, it's personal, so I'm excited for where it's going. Because up to this point, like, I read the Abnett stuff before, and I was like, yeah, Seadrift, that's cool. I'll read this in trade. And then Black Manta shows up. I'm like, okay, I'll be checking this out every week now.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because the Rebirth issues are kind of like standalone, even if I didn't like one of them, I maybe still check out issue one. Matt, your mic's going. Ultronic.
Yeah, there is a few series that, even though I thought the first issue was fine, like I would say about Flash, like I thought it was kind of redundant, but at the same time, it doesn't put me off the series at all, because I still think it was well written, and that's enough in that what that issue was doing, so to make me want to read the actual arc itself.